Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Brest. And we're still running the new commander because I think that's the best commander for these super cruisers or large cruisers or whatever you want to call these things. Heavy cruisers, whatever you want to call them. They're absurd. Battle cruisers, I don't know. I don't think their guns are quite big enough. I don't know. Whatever these things are. They're nasty and they're fun. And we're going to go out here and we're going to showcase these things in all of their absolutely absurd glory. Now, as I've said many a times, these things have two weaknesses. That's it. Just two weaknesses. One, they're not tanky at all. Meaning you don't want to get into too many engagements where you're 1v1ing battleships or whatever. Or just in general where you're the only thing that people can shoot at. Right? You want to get out on a flank in this thing, get those crossfires set up, and just punish the broadsides of anything that decides to cross you. However, the other thing that it has that is a big detriment, and one of the worst parts of this, is that the turret traverse is awful. And that is by far the worst part about this. I can deal with being squishy. I play plenty of ships that are squishy. I know how to deal with it. But the turret traverse is a killer. Because when you need it the most, it will always be lagging behind. And that will lead to your demise if you're not careful. Now, right off the bat, you're going to notice there are very few cruisers, no destroyers, a carrier, and a bunch of battleships. And we're top tier. Now, this is what you call not an ideal circumstance. Then on top of that, if you've been around the channel for a long time, you probably know that this estuary is one of my, if not my favorite map in the game. I just love this map. There's so many places that you can move around the map and get into good positions. And of course, I take a shot at Musashi, and Musashi immediately just turns to bow tank. He's not got anything else to worry about, so it's just me. And then he fires back with HE, and I take a hit from God only knows what out there, which turns out to be an Iowa-class battleship. We'll see him later on. So there's an Iowa and a Musashi on this flank. I have an Amagi and a Flounder next to me. Right? Aroma is trying to push up. The enemy is going to get way too aggressive and push straight into the B-cap early on. This is an incredibly stupid decision. Okay? Why on earth people think that it's a good idea on a small map to just charge straight into the one place where everybody can shoot you is beyond me. Like, there's one spot on this map that if you go to, everybody in the map can shoot you. And that is if you cross the middle barrier and go to the enemy side of the map. Everybody on the enemy team can shoot you, right? Now, we know that the Musashi's probably going to shoot here, so we're already preemptively turning away. These things do have a decently fast rudder shift initially, though they do take a while to recover from a turn. And that is something that you got to be careful with, because it'll get you in trouble if you're not paying attention. But see how the turrets are going to be like lagging behind. My ship can actually turn faster than my turrets, and that is never a good thing, especially on a cruiser. And yeah, it's something that you have to be very well aware of at all times in these super cruisers, or you're going to have a real bad time. Alright, as a battleship captain, I'm used to having slower turrets. That's not a problem. But generally, they're slower turrets on a ship that can't turn very quickly. So you still can turn the hull of the ship and get your turrets on target a little bit quicker. You can still do that with this, but your turrets are always going to be behind. So you gotta keep that in mind. Anytime that you're going in, especially in a close range engagement, like, you got to keep that in mind. Foreshadowing? We'll see. But we're going to go ahead and take some shots here. We got the Musashi over-angled again. We're just trying to get some shots into the upper side plating. I know that I can't pin his belt from this range, right? Like, I know that. So I'm trying to hit the upper side plating. We get one overpin. It's like, we are just not getting the RNG. He hits us with a single shell of HE, does 2,400 damage with HE. It's like, really, game? Really? Now, here we have the Roma, and again, this is a prime example. There is nothing for anybody to fear except me. Why is that? Look at my team's placement. Specifically, look at the people on my side of the map. Look at their placement. We have a cruiser beached himself straight into an island, can't shoot at anything. We have a battleship beached himself on the back island. Can't do anything. Turns out he's either disconnected or he's just quit the game. I can't figure out which. And then we have a second battleship that is hiding behind an island because reasons, right? Now, we know there's a Roma here, we know there's an Iowa here, and we know that there's a Musashi here. Now, most of you are probably getting the heebie-jeebies as I close in on this Musashi. I don't care. When I see a Musashi that is being this careless, and I have the very, very well, like, ability to remove them very quickly, as in with one shot, I'm always going to take that trade. Like, there is, and especially, this guy's only been shooting HE the entire time. What am I going to do? I'm going to come around the corner. I know the Iowa's there. He's going to shoot me. He's not likely to kill me. He's probably going to hit me really, really hard, but he's not going to kill me. And then I shoot and destroy the Musashi. That is my plan here, right? Now, as we come around the corner, again, my goal initially was to just get to this corner, wait for the Musashi to come to me. By the time he comes around this corner, he will have overextended, meaning he cannot possibly stop what's about to happen to him, right? And it protects me from the Iowa, who is shooting AP. But here we've got a beautiful look through the front cheek of the Musashi. We only get one Citadel there, which is just sadness. But he's going to start to bow tank me, which is not an ideal scenario for me, forcing me out of my spot. I do have my engine boost here, and there's all of my health from that Iowa. Again, he doesn't Citadel me, he just hits me really, really hard, right? Like, that's the beauty of these things, is like, I can take the hit from the Iowa, and then I just got to get around the corner. Now, what we want to do is just try to pre-rotate the turrets, and then we want to turn with this turn to try to get these guns on target and shoot the middle of the ship. And once we do, pop goes the weasel as we score 8 Citadels and down goes Musashi. Now, we do have our reload booster ready to go. Iowa gets another good shot into us. Again, no Citadels, just penetrations. He gets a lot of damage, but we're fine. And now we get his broadside to exploit as well. And again, we're going to showcase why these things are so dangerous. You cannot give these supercruisers a broadside. They will wreck you. I've shown it with Azuma. I've shown it with, like, I don't understand why so many battleship captains underestimate the firepower that is a supercruiser. And its accuracy. That's the other thing that battleships tend to misunderstand, is that the accuracy of these supercruisers. Like, you're going to get absolutely obliterated by the supercruiser. Watch this, straight through the cheek. Again, no Citadels, but we're not aiming for Citadels, just 7 full penetration. That is 7 out of 8 rounds. Now, he does put out the fire, unfortunately, so we don't get the kill, but we did everything we needed to do. We are still spotted, but we're using the island here to put the island between me and the Iowa to keep ourselves alive, and we have 1,700 hit points and our final heal to get some health back, and we are at 154,000 damage because of an Iowa and a Musashi underestimating the power of the breast. Now, I'm sorry, but you battleship captain, I've got nothing good to say about Flaunder. Flaunder did eventually move up, so I got to give him a little bit of props, but he only moved up because I kept telling him how much of a coward he was in chat. Like, good lord, man. What more do you need? You got a cruiser that is leading the way. I have no armor. I am guaranteed to get smashed. And I am leading the charge while my tier 7 battleships cower behind islands in the back of the map, hoping that somebody gets close enough that they might be able to shoot at. Like, come on, man. Grow a pair and get your battleship in the fight, you little cowards. Pay attention to what's on the map, where it's at, and then exploit your advantage. What do you think I just did? I know I don't have the advantage in, armor, but by God, when it comes down to it, I knew there was a Musashi that if I just play my cards right, I should be able to yeet, and an Iowa. And between the two of them, I put up 150,000 damage. It is that simple. Like, people just don't ever pay attention to when they have the advantage. Like, I don't understand why people are always so scared. They're so scared. Like, you have somebody going with you. It's not like you were alone in your Flaunder trying to take on an Iowa and a Musashi. Musashi was shooting nothing but HE the entire game. Alright? As soon as I see that, I am beelining it towards you. Right? Like, if you're just going to shoot HE out of your Musashi or your Yami, I'm going to laugh at you as I close the distance and depth strike you. That's just all it's going to be. Like, if you're that stupid, and I apologize if you're the guy that was in the Musashi, but I'm sorry, but if you're shooting nothing but HE out of a Musashi or a Yama, you are doing it wrong. You are what we call a Yamater. All right? I've made a video about it. How to not be a Yamater. Check it out sometime. But, as we just demonstrated, you got all these people that have no idea what they're doing in these high-tier ships, and you punish them for it. And that's the most fun part of playing the battle cruisers. That's the most fun part of playing these super cruisers like the Azuma, like the Alaska, like Constellation. I know Constellation's a battle cruiser, like Duncan. Like all of these fast, agile, flanking ships with heavy-hitting broadside guns. Boy, it's so much fun. It really is. And it's exhilarating too, because you've got the weakness of having less armor. So you have to play a little bit smarter, or try to position yourself, and using the islands as we approach on the Musashi and the Iowa, like using the islands the entire way till we were able to finally ambush and depth strike the guy. And can we just talk about that, by the way? That was the highest damage I have ever done in a single salvo from a cruiser, ever. That trumped my Alaska's 67,000 damage salvo on a Yamato. So, well done to the Brest for that. That was 8 citadels, by the way. We have 8 guns. Every single one of those shells went in and citadeled. When was the last time you saw that happen? I've never seen that happen. Usually one of the rounds will go off into somewhere and leave them with just enough to get away. Right? We've seen it. How many times? How many times? You shoot somebody, you absolutely annihilate them, but always just leave them with just enough to be a problem. So, yeah. I digress, or nevertheless, whatever you want to call it, we have a problem, and that is that the enemy carrier is the only thing left, and he knows that we're low health. He knows that he can kill us. All he has to do is come. Now, I gotta be honest, I gotta give it to our carrier here. Our carrier is actually gonna drop some fighters right there. Do you see him drop them? Those fighters are about to save my bacon, all right? Because those torpedo bombers were coming for me, all right? And just as he's starting to line up, like you can see, I'm trying to like figure out which side he's planning to go to. He's trying to dodge, and we turned back to try to make sure that we line up, and his fighters finally catch up and just absolutely wreck that guy, which is perfect. Again, can't say it enough. Thank you to the carrier for dropping fighters. That is a very rare thing. I know it sounds crazy, but carrier players tend to never drop fighters. I don't know why. I don't know why, but they come in real handy, man. They really do. But Saipan comes around the corner. We've got a shot at him. We have to rush it. We go ahead and punch that. We do have our reload booster ready to go. But unfortunately, we're going to get one overpin here for very little damage as he goes behind the island. But again, we had to rush it. He was angling towards the island, so we probably hit too high, or aimed too high on that one. But if we'd have aimed any lower, we would have ended up hitting the island. But we're trying to dodge as many bombs as we can. But finally, Saipan comes around the corner. We're going to go ahead and initiate our reload booster, fire the guns just to make sure. And then, of course, that's the one that we managed to do enough damage to finish him off, picking up our high caliber. And should be a dreadnought as well, but maybe it wasn't. But high caliber with the depth strike on the Musashi, second on the team. Graf Zeppelin, again, got to give it to the carrier player. It was nice. Flaunder eventually waking up and coming and joining the fight. Thank you. But let me know what you guys think about the Brest. What do you guys think about the super cruisers? Do you guys enjoy the super cruisers as much as I do? Like, I love the straight up balls to the walls, and that's an old saying. It's not actually got a sexual meaning as most people think it is. It's a factory term from back in the day. We're referring to a ball governor on a machine, specifically a steam machine, if you guys didn't know. So they used to have these spinning ball governors on steam machines that as they would speed up, the balls would come out, right? So once you got to a certain point, the balls were all the way out. So it was balls to the wall. Anyway, that's what that term comes from, just in case you didn't know. But anyway, going balls to the wall, getting the flank, setting up ambushes, setting up those beautiful like crossfires that we love. Like, do you guys enjoy it as much as I do? Because I love them. I really do. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.